Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Pensacola. My name is Kate Wolverton and I'm happy to see you all here today. My pronouns are she and her. I have a couple announcements. One, UU Women's Spirit is a women's retreat at the Mountain Retreat Center in North Carolina, October 5th through 9th. It's not working. There are 2 retreat sessions. The event is called The Magic Within the Cauldron. There's a flyer outside the conference room on the bulletin board if you're interested. The final registrations will be due by September 22nd. And if you have interest and you'd like to find out more about the events, you could talk to Penny or Nancy Hagman, or you can talk to me about it. At 11:30 on Sunday, September 25th, there will be a brainstorming session, and everyone is invited. We will be gathering our collective intelligence around ways to attract people to our church. Please put it on your calendar and plan to come. Laura Keith King and Laura Anzaldo. Just want to keep you up to date. The Fun and Fellowship teams are active, and we are going to be starting up our circle dinners again. The lunch brunch or bunch is back. Contact Hugh Ed if you're interested. The readers group is back in business. Contact Lori Winterberg if you're interested. And there's going to be a camping event soon in the future. Lots of fun all around the corner. All right, centering music.
Leave aside the little thoughts that distract you. For this place, like all places, is a holy place. And this time, like all times, is a holy time. Join with us, this community of seekers, and together let us find. Our chalice reading today. We light this chalice with the belief that community is the spirit, the guiding light of our tribe, whereby people come together in order to fulfill a specific purpose, to help others fill their purpose, and to take care of one another. This morning's opening hymn, 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
You all are going to sing this as a round, and the choir is going to help you. Please stand if you're willing and able. We're going to sing it in 2 parts. And you guys are going to start, the ones on my left, your right. And the other half of the round is going to be starting at the words, "Ours is no caravan."
Please stand as you're willing and able to join me with our church covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you.
Okay, before I start our time for all ages, a last-minute addition to our announcements is that the teen groups will start again next week. So if you have some, bring them. If not, borrow a couple. We can always use them. Okay, Sneetches. We're talking about Sneetches today. Now the star-belly Sneetches had bellies with stars. The plain-bellied Sneetches had none upon theirs. The stars weren't so big, and they weren't really small. You might think such a thing wouldn't matter at all. But because they had stars, well, all the starred-belly Sneetches would brag, "We're the best kind of Sneetches on the beaches." With their snoots in the air, they would sniff and they would snort. "We'll have nothing to do with that plain belly sort." And whenever they would met, when they were out walking, they'd hike right past them without even talking. When the star-belly children went out to play, could a plain belly play in the same game? No, not at all. If only you could play if your bellies had stars and the plain-belly children had none upon theirs. When the star-belly Sneetches had Frankfurter roasts, or picnics, or parties, or marshmallow roasts, they never invited the plain-bellied Sneetches. They left them out in the cold, in the dark of the beaches. They kept them away, never let them come near. And that's how they treated them year after year. Then one day, it seems, while the plain-belly Sneetches were moping and doping along the beaches, just sitting there wishing they had bellies with stars, a stranger zipped up in the strangest of cars. "My friends," he announced in a clear voice and keen, "my name is Sylvester McMonkey McBean, and I've heard of your troubles. I've heard you're unhappy, but I can fix that. I'm the fix-it-up chappie. I've come here to help you. I have what you need, and my prices are low, and I work with great speed, and my work is 100% guaranteed." Then quickly, Sylvester McMonkey McBean put together a very peculiar machine. He said, "You want stars like the starred belly sneeches? My friends, you can have them for $3 eaches. Just pay me my money and hop right on board." So they clambered inside, and the big machine roared. It clonked and it blonked and it jerked and it burked and it popped them about. But the thing really worked. When the plain belly sneeches popped out, they had stars. They actually did. They had stars upon stars. And then they yelled at the ones who had stars to start. "We're exactly like you. You can't tell us apart. We're all the same now, you snooty old smarties. And now we can go to your Frankfurter parties." "Good grief," groaned the ones who had stars at first. "We're still the best sneeches, and they're still the worst." "But now, how in the world would we know?" They all frowned. "Which kind is it, or is it the other kind around?" And then McBean, with a very sly wink, he said, "Things are not quite as bad as you think. So you don't know who's who. That is perfectly true. But come, my friends, do you know what I can do? I'll make you again the best sneeches on the beaches, and all it will cost is $10 eaches." "Belly stars are no longer in style," said McBean. "What you need is a trip through my star-off machine. This wondrous contraption will take off your stars, so you won't look like the sneeches who have them upon theirs." And that handy machine, working very precisely, removed all the stars from their tummies quite nicely. Then, with snoots in the air, they paraded about, and they opened their beaks and they let out a shout. "We know who is who, now there is no doubt. The best kind of sneeches are the sneeches without." Then, of course, those with the stars all got frightfully mad to be wearing a star that was frightfully bad. Then, of course, old Sylvester McMonkey McBean invited them into his star-off machine. Then, of course, from then on, as you can probably guess, things got into a really horrible mess. All the rest of that day, on those wild, screaming beaches, the fix-it-up chappie kept fixing all the sneeches. Off again, on again, in again, out again. Through the machines they raced round and round again, changing their stars every minute or two. They kept paying money, they kept running through, until their plain nor their star bellies knew which was this and which was that, or which was this one or none, or which one was one and which one was who. Then, when the very last cent of their money had been spent, the fix-it-up chappie packed up and he went. He laughed as he drove in his car up the beach. They will never learn. No, you just can't teach a sneech. Do we have anybody to sing out today? We do. Would you join me in singing out our kids? Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may. I invite all of you into our meditation words today. Your response: when I change, the world changes. We are here to derive meaning in our actions.
When I change, the world changes.
We are here to win back our power over areas of powerlessness.
When I change, the world changes.
We are here to deepen our understanding of ourselves in order to strengthen self-discipline.
When I change, the world changes.
We are here to abolish prejudice with an appreciation for our diversity and our differences.
When I change, the world changes.
We are here to feel our personal power and our capacity to affect the lives of others.
When I change, the world changes.
We are here to become teachers to one another.
When I change, the world changes.
We are here to spend time away from the usual influence and relearn reality.
When I change, the world changes.
When Spirit gives me the desire, I am also given the power and means of which to achieve my goals.
When I change, the world changes.
I am here to see that my singular life is a gateway to countless possibilities.
When I change, the world changes.
Excellent. Thank you. That comes to us from our UU congregation in Quezon City, the Philippines.
Freely we received of gifts that minister to our needs of body and spirit. Gladly we bring to our church and its wide concerns portions of this bounty. I have one joy to share. This is from Chris. Their niece had a beautiful baby girl on September 12th, and both mom and baby are doing great. And I will light one more candle for all the joys and sorrows that we hold in our heart, but we haven't expressed out loud today. And now I'd like to introduce our community minister, Maggie Lovins, to do our message today.
Well, good morning. Morning. I am the Reverend Maggie Lovins and blessed to be your community minister. My pronouns are she and her. So do not stop me if you know this one, okay? What's the difference between cats and dogs? Dogs, they tend to look at people and they say, they feed us, they give us shelter, they take care of our every need. They must be gods. But cats look at us and they go, well, they feed us and they shelter us and they give us everything that we could ever need. We must be gods. I'll be honest, and I'm not really sure how that applies to today's sermon, but it's a joke that one of my friends in Costa Rica, Barry, and he tells me this every time I see him. I am not kidding. He's an American, but he retired there a couple of decades ago to run a nonprofit after-school tutoring center and soup kitchen for the displaced Bree tribe. He and his wife Nancy are followers of the science of mind, and we Unitarian Universalists share many of the same values with them. I feel blessed to be able to work with them when I'm there, and every year, depending on donations, I try to take about 50 backpacks along with supplies to the kids there. It's not a whole lot, but to see those kids light up when they get brand new stuff is just amazing. And of course, we hold deep philosophical and theological conversations every Wednesday at our expat potluck. And to help them understand Unitarian Universalism and how the merger of the American Unitarian Association with the Universalist Church of America created this beautiful thing we now call the UUA, to which we are a member congregation. I told them the story of the very first accidental Unitarian Universalist, Starr King himself. And that is Thomas Starr King, being the name of my ministry school alma mater. When the Reverend left Boston for California, he was a very popular Unitarian minister. And when he got to his destination, he was a changed man, and he was now a Universalist minister. And he would describe the difference between Unitarians and Universalists in this way. Universalists believe that God is too good to damn people. But the Unitarians believe the people are too good for God to damn. Both of my friends could actually understand that, and they could relate to it because their faith proclaims very similar things. I also work with another soup kitchen down there that's open to the whole town. I chant with the group that performs this service as it does so as a blessing to the world, and because Amma, who is known as the hugging saint of India, deems it necessary to feed the body as well as the soul. I happily work alongside them to make that small port town into a place where everyone is fed, just like I am blessed every time I can go out into our local homeless population and distribute home-cooked food and hygiene kits. And that is all a part of my community ministry. And in addition to letting people know that they are not alone in this world and that they are awesome just as they are, feeding people is my ministry, my highest calling, both physically and spiritually. Everyone needs to be fed. No matter their beliefs or political musings, all souls are worthy souls. And besides, most of our religious belief systems were imposed from above and not nurtured from within. And I actually think that's a very powerful statement, and it bears stating again. Most of our religious belief systems were imposed from above, not nurtured from within. I live my faith by realizing my true ministry. I am a Unitarian Universalist community minister. The world is my community, and so it's my job to the best I can with what I have, wherever I am. So setting the bad animal jokes aside for a second, to live our faith, and I mean to really live our faith, we first need to understand our faith. And that does seem like kind of ground floor thinking, but I think it's where we need to start sometimes. There are moments that it can feel like we Unitarian Universalists are all a gathered group of exes. We're ex-Catholics or ex-Baptists or ex-Mormons or ex-omnivores. You get my point. And we don't stop being those things, but could I suggest that we start with what we are rather rather than what we are not. It's kind of like getting seated at a restaurant and your server comes over and gives you this long list of everything they're out of in their first breath. Not a great first impression. And starting at a deficit is no way to grow yourself or our church or our world. I am a Unitarian Universalist. I am a proud member of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Pensacola. I am a member of the Unitarian Universalist Ministers Association, and I am a member of the Unitarian Universalist Society for Community Ministers. And I am proud of all of those things. We are a covenantal faith that has members who are diverse in belief and passion and culture, and many of these members have joined their UU congregations because it feels right. I know I signed the book in this very church very much before I knew the principles or purposes inside and out, and way before I ever considered I would actually be in professional ministry. And I bet several of you here have signed the book in that same way. But joining and covenanting are different things. Kind of in the same way that a wedding does not make a marriage. Joining happens but once, and covenant is a continuous road on which we choose to move along together. Putting covenant back into the center of our religious movement would be a real powerful way to claim and be claimed by community and all that is holy. And as we all know, today, as every day, is a great day to be a Unitarian Universalist. And Bo Davison will live on with all of us. So as a Unitarian Universalist, have you spent any time on your elevator speech? You know, the speech you give in 2 minutes or less, which is, I guess, the average length of an elevator ride, that sums up Unitarian Universalism in a nutshell. While working for the Unitarian Universalist Association, I was at one of our General Assemblies with a colleague in an elevator talking about elevator speeches, because that's what one does. And as the door opens, we see that it is our guest speaker, our keynote speaker, Ibu Patel. And I'll let you in on a little secret. Both she and I were totally fangirled out, like theology geeked, that he was on the elevator with us. Dr. Patel entered and heard us talking, so he asked if I had mine to tell him. To which I looked at the elevator pin pad. I had 13 floors to do it in, and so I took on the challenge. And as the doors opened onto the lobby, he turned to us and thanked us for giving our side of UUism. It was a different window for him to view through. And with that, he scurried along to the keynote dais. And I think I got my view of Unitarian Universalism across on 13 floors. What would yours sound like? Should we do an elevator speech after hours workshop or a couple second-hour sessions for our own enlightenment, and also to equip us with the words needed to reply to someone who asks, as we are inevitably asked often here in the South, what church you go to? You say Unitarian Universalist Church, and they say, a what? But these things, they go hand in glove, figuring out who you are and what your beliefs are inside of Unitarian Universalism. And you take all of that and you and you turn it into your short speech to invite others in, to invite and encourage more questions, or as I call it, evangelizing for Unitarian Universalism. As a side note, when I was working for the UUA as part of the Southern Region's field staff, we lovingly called ourselves the Hallelujah Team. That, of course, was with 2 U's. Our mission was to evangelize the South on behalf of Unitarian Universalism, because spreading the good news about UUism is hard work that takes many hands. I feel a quote by the Reverend Starr King would be very appropriate on this subject. He states, "Be sure of the foundation of your life. Know why you live as you do, and be ready to give reason for it. Do not, in such a matter of life, build an opinion or a custom on what you guess is true. Make it a matter of certainty and of science." Be sure. So I'm going to invite each of you into something I have spent a lot of time meditating on and discerning as part of my ministerial formation. I'm going to invite each of you to sit down with the principles and purposes and ponder on them. Which are you drawn to most? How about least? Do you even agree with them? Which ones do you live out more so in your daily life? Which would you like to live out more in your daily life? Do we do enough with them here at the church? Should we adopt the 8th principle? The proposed 8th principle states, "We, the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association, covenant and affirm to promote journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountability, dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and in our institutions. Actively dismantling racism and oppression." Does that one resonate with you at all? Once we have established what it is that we believe, we can start to actively shape our liberal faith in the world. And do remember, when I change, the world changes. Now, while we are pondering our belief structures, consider this. We are proud of being welcoming to all theologies and beliefs. And we should be. I can count on one hand the others who profess the same, so we're truly in a bracket of our own. We often define ourselves by what we're not, thus making the chasm wider, but if we emphasize what commonalities we have, and here I will argue that love is at the center of all religions, then those elements of our individual yet shared beliefs are what binds us together in this beautiful, always changing quilt of Unitarian Universalism. And appreciating and honoring our mutual values is what we can do to heal our faith, ourselves, and our world. It feels in many ways like the religious right has hijacked religious language for their own use. Let me suggest a Beacon Press book, Reclaiming Prophetic Witness, to help you understand why it's important to reclaim the words of religion and to not be shy about using them. The sound of American religion sounds like us too. in all seriousness, be proud to be a voice for social justice. Don't let notions of what a religious person looks like in the US, don't let that stop you from showing up, because the vision of a religious America looks like us too. I love that we UUs show up when we're called. We march, we sit in, we sign petitions and work on other social justice-minded people here in our area. Here in our own community, we're ministering to our friends in many ways, from just Pensacola to writing letters and making calls. These are all ways that we live our faith in the mundane world. And mobilizing across philosophical and political divides in religion and in public dialogue is how we can heal our faith, ourselves, and our world. And we aren't going to be the model UU representatives all the time. I mean, I'm a really horrible Buddhist, I'm gonna admit it. I'm a horrible Buddhist because I love my leather seats, I like my leather jacket, and then there's butter. We are real people, and we fall down, and we wash out. We become disconnected to the people who matter so very much in our lives. But the beauty, the true beauty of being in a covenantal community is that you can ask for forgiveness, and you can ask to come back to the table. You can ask to recovenant. And some of you remember me before all of this and before I got sick. And some of you might not know me really much at all. But once upon a time, I was just the new girl, showing up for whatever needed to be done. And somewhere along the lines, I became the crazy church lady to my friends. Then I became the office administrator before going off to work for the UUA as a truest evangelist of our faith. All that while getting my Master's of Divinity and being ordained right here in April of 17. I loved being the crazy church lady. It helped inform many of my beliefs inside of Unitarian Universalism. But so much of that changed when I first got sick. I was in and out of the hospital, couldn't do my church work. And my spiritual bucket hit a new low. I tried to fill it myself, but it just emptied out too fast. So I bolstered my efforts. I took to my books, podcasts, YouTube videos, UUCP Sunday services. And I found some relief, but not until some lasting damage had been done. I have been disconnected from you, my church. And as I have asked you to look back upon the covenants that we hold here, I ask, as I humbly come before you, to be forgiven and to come back to your table. You are my home church, and I love you so deeply. This is what it means to be a covenantal community. Always striving to be the beloved community that we wish. Many of you probably have zero idea what I'm even talking about, or don't understand my query and why it's even necessary. But I needed to say that. And I needed to say it from right here at our pulpit. It's part of my own spiritual reawakening. I am blessed by you. Thank you. And because I do believe in lead by example, and I have done my own discernment, and I have already tasked you with reevaluating your principles and purposes, I also task you with looking into your covenant with UUCP as I have done. Our mission might change over the years, but it's our values that are our guiding light with which to do our work for. And you know, if we were an evangelical church, now would be the altar call. To rededicate yourself to the values that brought you here and kept you here. But, you know, we have this beautiful Mabon full equinox altar going on up here, so everybody just stay in your seats for now. I am grateful for the time, and I am grateful for the love that all of you have given me over the years, and I hope to be a greater part of the presence of this church going forward. Reaching towards our own best self and humbly serving humanity on a daily basis is what we can do to heal our faith, ourselves, and the world. But the truth time is this: you, as Unitarian Universalists, do a lot of things right, and we should celebrate that while working on the next thing. Because as many times as we wish for it on our birthday candles, world peace has not yet been achieved. And not everybody on the planet received the principles and purposes in their sleep last night. We can always do more. And that's your practice for this week. As my niece Mackenzie, yes, the little one who visits every summer, who this beautiful picture was taken right back there, right about where Honor's at. Mackenzie says, just be a little more extra. So this week we're going to be Mackenzie. We're going to be a little extra nice. We're going to be a little extra calm, a little extra helpful, maybe a little extra compassionate, extra service-oriented, and be extra sure to delve into the principles and purposes and recovenant with them. And maybe we'll find a way to recovenant with one another down the road. So go out into the mundane world and carry your principles with you, but not in your coat pocket. Carry them in you. Carry them in your being and live them out loud. And also, be a little extra fabulous. Blessed be and namaste. Our closing hymn today is Lean on Me. The music will play. You have the lyrics with you. this world. We are called to honor diversity, to respect differences with dignity, and to change those who would forbid it. We are the people of the wide path. Let us be wide in affection and go our way in peace. Although our time here has come to an end, we will hold the mission and its meaning in our hearts. And may you move through love